All right. Let's get this one started. Oh, yeah. Full show. Let's get some people up in here, man. I've been talking about this for a minute, but y'all ain't want to listen to me, though. Nah, they ain't want to listen to me. Yeah, they ain't want to listen to me. They think I didn't know what I was talking about. Bless that like button, family. Let's add this to the queue real quick. Hold on one second. I think I'm going to start off with this one real quick.
As Hispanic Heritage Month continues on, so many neighbors are voicing concerns about the.
All right, let's get up in here, man. Where my people at, man? Follow me. Come along. Yeah. I think they should already know right now, man. Well, by now. LA to the Bay. What up to LA to the Bay? DP. What's popping, brother? What's popping, man? Let's get this show started. I've been talking about this for a long time. Oh, man. True Warrior. What's up with it, True Warrior? Shout out to my people, man. I appreciate you guys for being up in the building. Oh, yeah. Peace to everybody. Shout out to the real ones. Now, you guys see the title. Mexicans and Latinos taking over the Deep South. And people used to tell me, man, that'll never happen. I say, yes, it will. Or yes, it can. Right? They got a whole country right underneath the United States. We share a border with them, right? And excuse me, and millions of people have been flocking to the United States from Mexico, Central and South America every year. And then when you think about the fact that Joe Biden opened the border and allowed millions of these people to come over. Look at it like this. Think about all those immigrants who came in when Biden was in office. And then you got to think about how many of those people had babies since they've been in this country. Their children are citizens. So the United States has millions of new citizens that comes from Latin America within the last 5 to 6 years. Within the last 5 years, we've seen millions of illegals cross the border, and millions of them have had anchor babies for birthright citizenship. So with that being said, these children are going to grow up and they're going to have children. So when you think about Georgia now, it's like, damn, like, keep in mind, man, I was just in Georgia last year. And when I was in Georgia last year, I've never seen that many Mexicans in the Deep South before in my life. Never seen so many of them. Never seen so many of them in my life. Not in Alabama, not in Georgia, not in South Carolina. You know, it was, excuse me, it was a crazy thing to see. I'm like, damn. Like, you got certain towns and certain counties in Georgia that are now predominant Mexican and Latino. And it don't take them 20 and 30 years to overpopulate someplace. It only takes them like 5 years. That's how fast Mexicans and Latinos populate certain cities and certain communities. Why? Because we share a border with them, and they've been allowed to come. They've been allowed to come over here by the millions. So that adds to their population. There's no speculation here. I'm telling you what I know. I'm not telling you what I think or feel. Get up in here and press. Get up in here and mash on that like button if you can.
Lack of representation. As Hispanic Heritage Month continues on, so many neighbors are voicing concerns about the lack of representation in state and local governments.
News 19's Shelly Garzone has the story tonight.
Descriptive representation is important because we physically see that there are Latinos advocating for other Latino voices.
More representation. It's what student advocates like Derek Diaz would like to see among state representatives in South Carolina.
We need people to advocate for our voices and let us know that we are heard and we are here, and I think that with being Latino, we don't get a lot of representation, and there's a lack of representation in the state of South Carolina.
According to the National Conference of State Legislatures, in 2020, Latinos and Hispanics made up 0% of South Carolina representatives. And that's still the case today. USC professor Dr. Chase Meyer says increasing statewide representation starts at the local level.
Representation matters in terms of getting more people and more voters to feel they're connected to the process, that they should turn out and vote on election day. And given we're in a state that historically does not have an incredibly high turnout rate, that's very important for a big...
Well, they don't want Latinos there like that. You see what I'm saying? So why would you give them political power? Once you give them political power, they're going to turn South Carolina into California. And that's the last thing that you want. Yeah, you're right about that, pretty boy. Within 6 months, their women are pregnant. A lot of those women come over here pregnant because that's how they, check this out, that's how they anchor themselves into this country. Have a baby, your child becomes a citizen. That's been a hustle for decades. That's one of the biggest hustles in the Latino community. Come to the United States, undocumented, and have a baby, and your child becomes a citizen. They've been taking full advantage of that scam for, my God, since forever. I'm talking about since like the last 60 to 70 years, maybe even longer than that. Cross the border illegally, come undocumented. As long as you have your baby over here, that child becomes a citizen. That is a scam if I ever heard of one.
Big chunk of our voters.
It's a goal local leaders like Sarai Melendez are hoping to accomplish.
When there is a need or a challenge in that our community is facing, I think it's up to local government to try to figure out how can we facilitate that? How can we bring this cohort together, this community that's facing this challenge, and let's listen to them and let's create that pipeline communication back to Columbia.
Shelly Garzone, News 19, WLTX.
Thank you, Shelly. Coming up,
Well, according to the recent numbers now, the number of Latinos working in increase over the past 5 years. For Hispanic Heritage Month, News 19's Eleanor Tabone spoke with a doctor about her experience.
I grew up in a small town in the Dominican Republic called San Francisco de Macorís. I come from a very humble family. I wanted to be a doctor since I had memory.
Dr. Carla Cruz Morel says her passion is helping others.
It was pretty obvious to me that there's a lot of disparities in healthcare in my country and also a lack of resources.
But that's also the United States should have changed that a long time ago, because that law was created for foundational Black Americans to protect the people who built the nation. You know, when you think about the fact that we gave this country well over 300 plus years of free labor, plus countless inventions, that was for the Blacks who built this country. It wasn't for illegals to come over here so that they can have babies for birthright citizenship. But the Latinos used that loophole of the 13th and 14th Amendment. They found a loophole in that to come over here by the millions to dump anchor babies. So the Latinos took full advantage of something that was never created for them in the first place. Right? And that's exactly what they've been doing for the last God knows how long, man.
resources.
She says she left her country to further her studies in America.
I didn't speak a lot of English at that time, so I had to relearn a new language and relearn medicine in another language.
3 years ago, she came to Colombia.
I've always wanted to do pulmonary and critical care because I was interested in taking care of the most complex patients and be able to save lives.
The pulmonary hypertension program at Prisma Health. Dr. Mercedes Lopez Rodriguez, whose most recent book focuses on racial identities, says nationality can affect employment.
It is difficult to be a Latino in the U.S. and be successful.
The USC professor says many people in the Latino community have to fight harder than others.
Being a Latino.
Latinos come over here illegally. They do. They come over here to have babies so that their children can gain citizenship. And then they come over here by the millions. America should have shut that down a long time. They should have shut that down a long time ago because that ain't nothing but a big old scam. Why do you think the Latino population in this country got big so fast? Because of open borders and birthright citizenship. So they're cheating the system. Their population is not organic. See, you don't have blacks coming over here by the millions illegally to dump anchor babies. They'll never let Africans or Haitians come over here by the millions to dump anchor babies. America would never allow that, right? And I'm going to tell you why. They don't want the black population to get that big. So they'll never let foreign blacks come over here and do what Mexicans and Latinos been doing. They'll never tolerate that from black foreigners. No way.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge, and it's a challenge that sometimes people forget about. You have to be hardworking. You have to love this country. You have to always prove that you deserve to be here. You are always treated as if you were stranger, as if you do not belong here. And we do belong here.
According to South Carolina Minority Affairs, in 2010, there were more than 11,000 Latinos working in the management, business, science and arts sectors across the state. In 2019, that number soared to more than 23,000. In 2010, there were more than 91,000 Latinos employed in South Carolina. In 2019, that skyrocketed to more than 123,000.
I want to look back at that little girl that wanted to be a doctor and tell her everything's going to be okay.
As for Dr. Cruz Morel, she wants other Latina women to follow their dreams.
I just encourage every Latina woman to be authentic and to achieve high and try to get their goals.
In Colombia, Eleanor Tabone, News 19 WLTX.
Well, still ahead tonight on language barriers to improve lives. It's tonight's cover story. According to the 2020 U.S. Census, there are more than 1.1 million Hispanics living in North Carolina. A growing demographic in our state, but one that still struggles with communication. What do they see as lacking?
So the top needed services that they've identified are all related to healthcare. So the number one needed service is related to dental care. Second to that is preventative healthcare services like annual checkups and physicals, and then third is a doctor that speaks your preferred language.
That was Soraya Ordonez from the Camino Research Institute. According to a study done by Camino, 73% of Hispanics in Mecklenburg County do not go to the dentist regularly. 61% also say they don't get regular vision care. And as you may have guessed, most of the time they delay getting help because of a language barrier. And the obstacles don't stop at the doctor's office. In Mecklenburg County, 75.
If you don't speak English, you ain't got no damn business being over here in the first place. Why do we care about some illegal immigrants who can't speak the language? They want to have anchor babies so that they can overpopulate the city and the whole damn state. Come on, y'all. You got to recognize what's going on because it's been going on for too long. So what they're going to do is they're going to hire more Mexicans to cater to these people who can't speak English, which means less jobs for the American citizens. That's exactly how it happens. Well, if they can't speak English, we're going to hire more Mexicans to translate. And that's less Americans with jobs, because now you got to give jobs to these Mexicans to speak Spanish. That doesn't make sense. We live in America. If you can't speak English, if you're undocumented, you ain't got no damn business being here in the first place.
5% of Latinos say they prefer to speak Spanish, but only 20% of their doctors speak Spanish to them. One woman says Spanish, 20% of their doctors. 5% of Latinos say they prefer to speak Spanish, but only 20% of their doctors speak Spanish to them. One woman says Spanish speakers struggle with several tasks like registering vehicles, paying taxes, handling legal work, and even shopping. A group in South Carolina stresses the importance of having bilingual employees. WBTV's Natisha Lance has tonight's cover story.
When we first arrived in Greenville, we felt that not many were very friendly to Hispanic people, especially those who did not speak English well or had accent like me.
Edith Jimenez says she tends to favor.
You can't go to Mexico and not be able to speak the language and think that they're going to cater to you. Mexicans want special privilege. They want special privileges. You can't speak the language. Go back to your country. You ain't got no damn business going over here, coming over here. If you go to Mexico right now and you can't speak the language, you're asked out. They're not going to hire people to speak English to cater to a bunch of Americans who can't speak Spanish. They're not going to cater to you in Latin America. But these Mexicans and Latinos, they come over here and they expect for somebody to speak Spanish. Learn how to speak English. This is an English speaking country. If you can't speak the language, you ain't got no damn business over here in the first damn place. Man, this is crazy.
For Latino markets for buying essentials, because that's where she can ask questions and get answers in Spanish. But shopping for a doctor is difficult.
One of the biggest barriers experienced is the language barrier in the healthcare setting. Most of the time, the Hispanic community has to wait an extended period of time for an appointment because of having to get a medical interpreter on site.
Edith says the lack of an interpreter prevents many in the Hispanic community from seeing a doctor or taking care of business.
Especially in matters such as legal or medical, where understanding all the words or one word can make a big difference and can also have serious consequences.
The Hispanic Alliance says area employers can help.
And so hiring bilingual workers to their practice is a great first step.
Put up a sign saying Spanish spoken here.
That's not a great first step, because what happens is when you got to hire people that are bilingual, you're going to hire more Mexicans and Latinos, and that's less jobs for the American citizens. It's not our fault that these people are undocumented. It's not our fault that they don't speak English. So what they're going to do is they're going to give more of those jobs to Mexicans to cater to these non-English speaking people. That's how your communities become Mexico. That's how your state becomes Mexico. That's how your city becomes Mexico. Now you got to hire all these bilingual people to speak to these non-English speaking illegal immigrants, illegal aliens. So instead of giving a job to you, they got to give it to somebody that's bilingual to cater to these damn illegal immigrants who can't speak English. Oh, we got to hire more Mexican doctors. Oh, we got to hire more Mexican nurses to cater to the people who come to the hospital that can't speak English. How does that even make sense? If you can't speak English, you ain't got no damn business in the country in the first damn place. Get rid of these people and send them back home, man. It's not our problem that you can't speak English.
Or have employees wear badges saying I'm bilingual.
Our research has shown that building trust with the Hispanic community is paramount, and that is done just by having a heart-to-heart conversation.
But the children are less embarrassed than adults are to learn and to speak English.
Natisha Lance reporting. A quick reminder, also here tonight, WBTV has a big milestone coming up. Our station is celebrating our 75th anniversary this July. To mark the occasion, WBTV is going to be live in different parts of our community.
No country should cater to a group of people that can't speak the native language. If you can't speak the language of the country, you ain't got no business being there. You ain't got no business being over there if you can't speak the language. It's not our fault if you can't speak English. It's not our job to cater to a bunch of undocumented immigrants.
Community every Friday, so that means tomorrow, WBTV's John Carter will be live in Plaza Midwood ahead of the Juneteenth Festival of the Carolinas, so you don't want to miss that. We will be live on air and online. Make sure you tune in.
I mean, look at this. I'm buying jerseys. I didn't have a backyard. I was living in a box.
It's been 2 years since Carlos Bahana packed up his family from their cramped apartment in northern New Jersey and moved to Vance County. The 50-year-old Ecuadorian immigrant and Iraq War Army vet describing his new, calmer and quieter life in Henderson like a dream come true.
This is a completely different lifestyle. It is, yes. And I want to change it for nothing. I don't regret it. I had a good job. I was making good money. But the quality of life, like family time and all that, wasn't all there.
The Bahanas not alone. North Carolina's Latino population grew from about 67,000 in 1990 to 1.1 million in 2020.
And it's grown much faster than any other racial or ethnic group in the state.
Nathan Dollar examines population trends at UNC's Carolina Demography.
What are the counties seeing the biggest increases in Hispanic population right now?
Duplin County is almost a quarter. Sampson County, 22%. Lee County, 20%.
The majority of buyers today are from Mexico, Central America.
Otto Cedeno is CEO of Durham-based Mobile Real Estate. Of the 1,500 homes the firm sold last year, Cedeno says 80% went to Latino families, either already living in North Carolina or just discovering it. His team of bilingual agents steering many clients to properties outside of the pricier triangle.
Places like Lillington, Dunn, Henderson, they can get a good house for the money. What brought them here, I think the quality of life and the people, the warmth of the South.
Has moving here changed your life?
Yes, it does.
For the better?
For the better. And it keeps getting better.
It keeps getting better, he says. We should also mention the Latino growth in Chatham County, especially in Siler City, which is now 53% Hispanic, the state's first majority Latino city or town.
I think one of the craziest things in prison, I was in maximum security prison, was that them put a hit on all blacks in the system. And what I mean by that is, I think it was 2016, black, because blacks and Mexicans really, we don't sell together, anything like that. Blacks and whites don't sell together like that. And it's very, very, very segregated. And a black dude, excuse me, a black dude did something. I think he stabbed him or he probably killed him to a Mexican.
Hold on real quick before we go to this. I'm going to come back to that. Hit the like button if you haven't already, family.
And an exclusive story for you. We're taking a look at the growing Hispanic population right here in Baton Rouge. Fox 44's Anam Siddiqui speaks with local.
Now, this is Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Baton Rouge, Louisiana has a large Latino population, mainly immigrants who just came there recently. So this is Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
And in an exclusive story for you tonight, we're taking a look at the growing Hispanic population right here in Baton Rouge. Fox 44's Anam Siddiqui speaks with local experts who comment on the growth.
The United States Census Bureau shows in the past decade, East Baton Rouge had the largest Hispanic population growth in the state outside of the New Orleans area.
These days, the Hispanic community makes up about 25% of our total services, but at times it's been as high as 50%.
Catholic Charities in Baton Rouge provides resources for immigrants. Executive Director David Aguilar says Baton Rouge has become more attractive because of its job opportunities.
It seems to especially grow more quickly after disasters, and if it weren't for the Hispanic community, South Louisiana would not recover as quickly as it does from disasters.
Census data shows about 30% of Baton Rouge Hispanic and Latino residents work in construction. That's the most common industry for these immigrants.
Like most of the immigrants across the world, really, people are seeking a better life.
Maurice Velasquez knows exactly what it's like to migrate to the United States seeking a better life. Maurice and his family fled Colombia in the mid-70s during tense political violence and the emerging war on drugs.
Being an immigrant in this country is every day waking up
being thankful.
His family depended on Catholic charities when they got to the States. He says without these resources, it's hard for immigrants to see themselves living the American dream. For him, that was becoming a business owner.
I remember to this day looking out the window of the plane, and saying, man, I hope this works out.
Other than job opportunities, Aguilar says a big portion of their clientele is dealing with asylum cases. He says that need has grown in the past few years.
We also work very closely here in our community with law enforcement because immigrants tend to be preyed upon and taken advantage of.
Aguilar says the growing population is not only benefiting those seeking a better life, but also helping boost the local economy.
The thing that I wish people really understood is that immigrants don't come here to take jobs. Immigrants come here to contribute to our economy.
Anam Siddiqui, Fox 44 News.
Welcome to New Orleans, a city in Louisiana known for jazz, Mardi Gras, Creole culture, and Hondurans.
Houston is all Mexican there, but here it's like just Hondurans, Like I can throw a rock, I can go to a Honduran restaurant.
Which means you'll have no trouble finding baleadas, a Honduran staple.
Nobody talks about
Yeah. So they're saying there's a lot of Hondurans in Louisiana. Like you said, Texas is mostly Mexicans, and there's a lot of Hondurans in Louisiana. The Latino population in Louisiana is getting real big.
Burritos here, they talk about baleadas.
Yeah. New Orleans is one of the U.S. cities with the largest population of Hondurans. And here,
one of the largest populations of Hondurans.
Hondurans dominate compared to other Latin American nationalities. Hondurans make up just 2% of the Hispanic population overall in the United States. But in New Orleans, they make up 32% of Hispanics. So it's...
Oh, that's... Oh, man. So they're 32% of the Hispanic population in New Orleans, Louisiana. So there's a lot of Hondurans setting up shop in Louisiana. I've been telling y'all for a long time, but people don't listen to me, man. No, man, this ain't Cali, this ain't Texas. Don't matter. Eventually, they're going to send them over there. If they overpopulate Cali, they'll send them to other states and other cities across the country.
No surprise that the Spanish language radio announcer for the city's NFL team is
for Hondurans.
My name is Fernando. I'm a journalist leaving to become a YouTuber who covers states, becoming America.
This is what I'm gonna do. Before I do that, I got another clip that I'm gonna play, and I want you guys to check this out. I'm gonna come back to that. I'm gonna go to Alabama real quick, then I'm gonna go back to Louisiana. I'm gonna show y'all what's going on in Alabama. You heard?
A new report tonight says that more than 9,000 Hispanic population made Alabama last year, especially in the state's. A new report tonight says that more than 9,000 members of the Hispanic population made Alabama their home within the last year, especially in the state's rural counties.
This is one of the highest rates of growth for any state in the country. Lauren Jackson joins us now with more on why leaders say this increase will help bring more opportunities to the state. Lauren?
Yeah, Catherine, Steve, according to the latest population estimate from the U.S. Census Bureau, Alabama's Hispanic population now has more than 250,000 people living here in Alabama, nearly a 4% increase since 2021.
I want y'all to listen to that again. Listen to these numbers.
Estimate from the U.S. Census Bureau, Alabama's Hispanic population now has more than 250,000 people living here in Alabama, nearly a 4% increase since 2021. Now, from July 2021 to July 2022, 9,200 Hispanic residents moved to nearly every county in the state. And officials with the Hispanic Interest Coalition say many rural counties, like Pickens County, saw the most increase. The Hispanic population there grew by more than 17% in the year, which is the fastest growth in the state. And HICA officials say it's likely because of the poultry plants and agriculture in the area. But this large increase in population just shows social and economic growth in the state.
The Hispanic population is growing, and there is opportunity here, and also opportunity to grow families, to empower others as well. This is.
But guess what? they also bring Southsiders, Serranos, and Mexican drug cartels. See, when they get on the news, they make it seem, oh, they're just coming to work. They're not telling you about all the drug cartels. Anytime you have a big Mexican population in any state or any city, the Mexican drug cartels set up shop. Now you got Southsider and Serrano gangs popping up. So don't forget to add that as well.
Showing that the growing importance of the Latino community in our state, socially and economically, is coming to a greater, more experiences and more opportunities.
Now, the Hispanic people growth rate in Alabama is tied for the 8th fastest in the United States. We're tying with Idaho and North Carolina right now. Steve.
You see that right there? Now check this out. She don't want to tell you that
development and advocacy. We serve the
this is Alabama.
Latino community here in Alabama to help make sure that.
Mi nombre es Nancy Herrera, tengo 4 hijos y pues somos una familia feliz.
Nancy Herrera immigrated to Alabama from Mexico 14 years ago. 14 years ago. Yeah, they're not going to tell you about all the Mexican drug cartel and the Serrano gangs that also follow these Mexican families as well. Anytime you have a Mexican population that's growing, you're going to have Serrano gangs and drug cartels. That's just the honest to God truth. But they're not going to tell you that, oh, they're just coming for jobs. Yeah, they're also bringing gangs and drug cartels. Yeah.
Pues yo venía soltera y quise experimentar lo que todo mundo dice que en Estados Unidos viene uno a trabajar y a mejorar y lo que en México.
Now you've been in America 14 years and you still can't speak English. These are anchor babies. All of her children are citizens because she had them in this country. So she's been in Alabama for 14 years and still can't speak English. Because what they do is they hire Mexicans at these jobs to cater to these non-English speaking Mexicans and Latinos that come over here. So what happens? Americans lose jobs because they got to cater to the non-English speaking Mexican Latino community. So they got to hire more Mexican doctors, more Mexican nurses, more Mexican dentists to speak to these non-English speaking immigrants that have been coming over here. So that's how we lose a lot of jobs, because now we got to speak Spanish to people who can't speak English. So you can't listen. Even if you did speak Spanish as a black person, they would rather have somebody that's Latino catering to these people. So they're going to give those jobs to Latinos to cater to these immigrants. That's exactly how it happens.
No hay, o sea, en México es gente que somos pobres y no tenemos a veces trabajo. Entonces yo venía a eso,
I just wanted to show you that real quick. Here's Jose. Check this out right here.
What's up, E? Welcome to All Good Alabama. Like it's all good, it's all
Sweet home Alabama. Mom, I'm coming home to you. Sweet home Alabama. Mom, I'm coming home to you. This is sweet old home Alabama. Jose is getting ready to tell you that this city is now majority Latino in good old sweet home Alabama. Yeah.
Good around here, baby. This area is surrounded by some of the most beautiful countryside I've seen in Alabama. What are the statistics on this town, baby?
There's 650 people.
Yep.
And there's no information.
If I remember,
Here we go.
it was the most Latino town in all of Alabama.
Yes.
43% Latino last time I looked. I may have wrong. What's the Latino percentage?
43%.
43% Latino, guys. So even though we're in Alabama, Aquí está la pura raza in Alabama. All good Alabama, 43% Latino. And it's beautiful here. This is north of Birmingham. And there's also, not too far from here, Oneota, which is a town we've been wanting to go to for a while. They're burning something over there. Yeah. So this is one of the most Latino city in Alabama, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and it's not really a city, it's just a point on the map, really. Go downtown by a murderer, dude. Crazy about a murderer. This is crazy about a murderer. I'm gonna go downtown by a murderer and put it on 22s. She's crazy about a murderer. I'm gonna buy me a murderer and cruise it up and down the road.
Statistics don't make any sense.
Buy high money. I tell you what I do. I go downtown, buy a Mercury, and put it on.
Read the statistics. It doesn't really make sense.
I don't know. Okay, I'm driving. I can't really look. You give me a phone with a bunch of numbers while I'm driving. That's not the safest thing you'll do. If I high money, I tell you what I do. Lento niños están jugando. They have signs in Spanish. That's not what you would expect in Alabama. It says, cuidado niños. Oh, they're Spanish. It is really all Spanish. Wow, that's crazy. We found the most Spanish place in Alabama, the most Latino community. All good. Todo bueno. I love it, man.
Yeah.
Interesting. You wouldn't expect an all Latino community in Alabama. If I had money, I tell you what I do. I buy a Mercury and put it on 22s. Crazy about a Mercury. Why is my phone wobbling? I don't get this new mount thing you buy. I think it's just junk. Everything you buy on Amazon is garbage. Low quality crap. Can I see a map? Let me see a map of where we're at.
Of course.
If I have money, I tell you what I do. I buy a Mercury and put it on 22s.
See, the Mexicans are very proud of this. They're like, yeah, the raza is growing in Alabama. The raza is growing in the South. The Mexicans are very proud of their population growing in an FBA stronghold. Because like I said, the South is an FBA stronghold. And, well, this is a rural part of Alabama. This ain't the city. This is like the outskirts, right? So they're proud to see that they have a growing population in an FBA stronghold. Let's get back to it.
So yeah, guys, all good. It's all good in Alabama. In the most Latino city in Alabama. And let me tell you, if you got rid of the people, and have me guess, it looks like a very. Just be honest, it doesn't look like a very. Let's see here. No, I don't like it's all the litter. I gotta go on the map real quick, y'all. If I have money, I tell you what I do. I buy a Mercury and put it on 22s. Crazy about a Mercury. So we're north of the Birmingham area. And if I had money, I tell you what I do. I buy a Mercury and put it on 22. What's up with all the litter, man? If you think I'm not gonna get into that.
This right here is like on the outskirts of the city. This is like the country part of Alabama. I know people who ain't from the South or never been there. They think that the whole state looks like this. It does not. But this right here is a hick town. What I'm telling you is this, you guys. This is what's happening. Mexicans and Latinos are moving to these areas that's underdeveloped with no real economy there. And they're building new homes and they're putting businesses there. This place right here is north of Birmingham, and Birmingham is the biggest city in Alabama. So this place right here is just north of Birmingham. And what's going on is the Mexicans are moving there by the thousands. They're putting homes there. They're putting businesses there, taco shops, all of that. You dig?
Okay. Is that a dog? Hey, what's up? What up, dog? What up, dog? If I had money, I gotta go up this hill. I don't even know what's up right now. I'm just I have to see it. I can't believe how much living there is. Right, like you gotta, if you're a community that's migrant and you're in a place that's not your own place, you should try the best you can not to have anything criticizable about your community. That's my own personal opinion. That's the way I look at things. I love this. I could see myself here. This is like a Rosemary in Alabama. Man, I love it. It's kind of like a little piece of Immokalee in Alabama. Wow, they're gonna burn all that? That's gonna burn wild. Can you imagine when they burn all that? If I had money, I tell you what I'd do. Buy a Mercury and put it on 22s. Yeah, this is definitely all Latinos up in here. Mostly looks like Guatemalan. I'm gonna guess it's mostly Guatemalan. If I had money, I tell you what I'd do. I'd buy a Mercury.
All right, hold on, real.
Reclaiming an identity. One Alabama man, it's been a journey, more than 2 decades in the making, a journey filled with questions about race, about culture, and really a sense of belonging. Here's NBC News correspondent George Solis with a story that may redefine how many answer the questions about who they are and where they come from.
At 25 years old, Juan Zapata has a lot to be proud about. Homeowner, Army reservist, employed, and is even a published sci-fi author.
An Alabama A&M student just signed a major book deal, and he's joining us now.
An American dream that began as a nightmare when Juan was just a young, space-obsessed Mexican child in Huntsville, Alabama.
I didn't think anything of race or identity back when I was a child, obviously, but I noticed something was off.
His insecurity peaking after listening to a report on the news about undocumented migrants. Only thing, Juan didn't quite know it at that time.
There was this judge or somebody, like official-looking guy, talking about aliens, and like I told my mom, I was like, look, I was right, they exist. And then she said, like, they're talking about us.
His mom felt she had no choice but reveal the truth. The family was undocumented.
And I was confused. I was like, what do you mean they're talking about us? Like, I'm not an alien or anything.
Growing up, Juan recalls being taunted at school, hoping no one would uncover his secret.
They would call me taco or burrito. They would actually call me like Mexican, and then some people would laugh as if it's like a huge joke or something.
Despite the pressure, Juan excelled academically, but his undocumented status started creating limitations.
When did it really hit you that you're like, oh, this is what that means?
I would say in 10th grade, all my friends started getting driver's license and they could drive around, and I could not even get a driver's license. And then they started talking about college, and I was like, is this all for nothing because I can't do anything with my life? So I was feeling pretty angry.
He says he turned anger into action, enlisting in the U.S. Army Reserve, which in turn helped with his citizenship. Now, an American citizen, you might think the story ends here, but Juan still felt incomplete, trying to piece together his identity. Curiosity-filled internet browsing drove him to Ancestry and genealogy sites, where he eventually took a DNA test.
Maybe this will tell me something, or maybe it won't. Maybe it'll just say I'm Mexican.
The results were like unlocking pieces of a puzzle. European, indigenous, and African DNA all part of his profile, so he joined online genealogy groups to learn how to trace back his ancestry.
You weren't expecting to find much, but you did.
Yes, I found a lot.
After 2 years of extensive research and using his own money, Juan has been able to trace his lineage back all the way to the 1500s. Among some of his most meaningful finds, Spanish-Portuguese roots, specifically a Sephardic Jewish line, even uncovering a 5th great-grandfather that ruled over parts of Texas and northern Mexico.
It was emotionally impactful to learn all this information, because it's like I'm the furthest thing from an alien. Like, my own ancestors even ruled over part of the U.S. territory here.
So you feel a little validated?
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, Wanchelo here with another genealogy video.
Juan has been documenting and sharing each branch of his expanding family tree on TikTok, amassing followers like Catherine Pearl from Texas, who also yearn for...
See, a lot of y'all didn't even know there was Mexicans in Alabama. I told you, man, they are overpopulating a lot of areas in the South now, man. Y'all better get ready. You better be prepared. I've been telling y'all for years.
Knowledge about her own ancestry.
I've learned so much about myself, my identity, my family, and most importantly, like a sense of reclaiming that pride about my culture.
Now, Juan takes great pride in his identity, race, and culture.
I went through a whole lot of that bullying, a whole lot of that self-hate because I was embarrassed of being Mexican through all of it, but at the end of the day, it did make me into what I am now.
No longer does he define who he is by forms or basic race classifications as they exist today. Juan says it's far more nuanced than that.
I think it's really paid off, like all the work that I put in, everything that I did every step of the way. I've earned everything that I have.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the end.
Now get the likes up, man. I've been telling you guys for a minute that this is a growing population. Matter of fact, this is what you call an invasion. This right here is an invasion. Yeah. Yeah. Hit the like button. I got another clip for y'all, man.
NBC News app.
I got another clip for y'all, man. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out.
Well, new and first at 9, strategic plan highlights a growing trend in the metro area, an influx of Hispanic students.
Your reporter James Giles has more on how the school system is working to ensure none of them are left behind.
Since the start of the pandemic, the population of Hispanic students in Birmingham City schools continues to climb, with the number sitting at 11%, up from just 3%.
This is Birmingham, Alabama, man. So this is Birmingham, Alabama. A growing Latino population. Birmingham is like 75 to 80% black. Birmingham, Alabama is 75 to 80% black, but you also now have a growing Latino population. Get the likes up.
Well, new and first at 9, Birmingham City Schools' new strategic plan highlights a growing trend in the metro area, an influx of Hispanic students.
Your reporter James Giles has more on how the school system is working to ensure none of them are left behind.
Since the start of the pandemic, the population of Hispanic students in Birmingham City schools continues to climb, with the number sitting at 11%, up from just 3%, according to Dr. Mark Sullivan.
Most of the students that we're having coming in speak Spanish as their native language at home. And so what we've done is we've increased the number of our ESL teachers. We've increased the number of our bilingual aides that are in our schools. We also are using technology.
Birmingham City Schools' new 5-year strategic plan highlights the growing Latino Hispanic population and puts an emphasis on their success. According to Sullivan, BCS is also adding more technology, like the language line, which gives students across the district access to an interpreter. Carver High School and Putnam Middle School have also launched an empowerment academy that helps older students who don't have any school background.
What we saw before was many of the students, once they got to be an age where they could drop out of school, they did. And so we want to make sure that we provide our students with the resources they need to be successful in high school so they can graduate and be successful out of high school.
All things that have the backing of Hispanic Immigrant Center of Alabama Chief Executive Officer Carlos Aliman.
I think the more resources we have so that they can more quickly learn English, more quickly adapt to their new environment, then that's just going to result in better outcomes for themselves and the schools.
And the population doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon.
And you already have schools in the city of Birmingham that are 50-60% Hispanic. That points to a fact that in a period of 10 to 15 years, you may have some of the high schools be a third Latino Hispanic, 40%.
And Dr. Sullivan.
So what he just said, man, I got to play it again. This right here is because of illegal immigration. Keep in mind, their population is not organic. A lot of people been crossing the border, coming here illegally and dumping anchor babies. Now their children are citizens. This is why Latinos are the fastest growing population all over the damn South.
More quickly adapt to their new environment, then that's just going to result in better outcomes for themselves and the schools.
And the population doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon.
And you already have schools in the city of Birmingham that are 50-60% Hispanic. That points to a fact that in a period of 10 to 15 years, you may have some of the high schools be a third Latino, Hispanic, 40%.
And Dr. Sullivan says a large portion of the Hispanic students coming in now are coming from Central America. To read more about the school district's plan, you can click the link in this story on the WBRC News app. Your reporter in Birmingham, James Giles, WBRC 6 News, on your side.
A new report tonight says that more than 9,000 population made Alabama their home within the last year, especially in the state's rural counties.
This is one of the highest rates of growth for any state in the country. Lauren Jackson.
I told you what they do is they go to those rural counties and they set up shop there. Oh, man. Only if you guys knew. I've been putting y'all up on game for a long time, but y'all don't listen. Y'all don't even hit the like button.
I think one of the most craziest things
Now, this dude right here is going to talk about prison, some prison politics. Get the lights
I've
up.
seen in federal prison, I was in a maximum security prison, was that the Mexican mafia put a hit on all blacks in the system. And what I mean by that is, I think it was 2016, a black, because blacks and Mexicans really, you know, we don't sell together, anything like that. Blacks and whites don't sell, you know what I'm saying, together like that. And it's very, very, very segregated. And a black dude, excuse me, y'all, a black dude did something. I think he stabbed him or either probably killed him to a Mexican. But 3 months later, the Mexican mafia put a hit on all blacks throughout the system. Like at 4 o'clock count, I think it was a black hand that made that call. But at 4 o'clock count, and all the major pens in the United States of America attacked. So at 4 o'clock count, 2016, dudes is at the email station, they on the phone, they taking showers, but the Mexicans knew what was going on 3 months ago, and they just hit an all-out attack. They end up locking Big Sandy down, they locked Lee County down.
Now, do you guys see why I've been going in on these FBA clowns for talking about tethers all day? When Africans and illegal, how could I say this? Foreign black people only represent 2% of the country. And you got idiots making videos about tethers, and they're the smallest population in the country, and Donald Trump is deporting them as we speak. So now you should understand why I've been going in on these idiots who've been talking about tethers every day, when Latinos are trying to take over the damn South. And I want you guys to spread the word. If you're really rocking with the platform, I need y'all to bless the like button and show some love to the platform. How y'all gonna show these clowns more love than you showing my platform? You got clowns in our community talking about other black people when that's the smallest population in the country. Mexicans and Latinos are literally, they're trying to take over the damn South. Matter of fact, they're trying to take over the damn country. The Deep South was always an FBA stronghold, but guess what? Mexican Latinos are the fastest growing population in the South, which is an FBA stronghold. And you got bozos talking about tethers and Africans all damn day. I want to talk about the smallest population in the country while ignoring the fact that Latinos are the fastest growing population all over the country. They're the fastest growing population in the South, which is an FBA stronghold. That's why I've been going in on these bozos for talking about Africans and Haitians, when that should be the least of our worries. Africans and Haitians ain't populating. Africans and Haitians ain't overpopulating the South, but Latinos are. So why talk about that when it doesn't affect you? Now you understand why I've been going in on these bozos every day. Really, you gonna wake up and talk about tethers every day when Latinos are multiplying by the millions all over the damn South? But you want to make videos about African tethers? Doesn't make any sense.
They locked McQuarrie down, they locked Pollock down, they locked a lot of Pentry, a lot of pens down behind that.
When they talk about tethers, they're talking about Africans, Haitians, and Jamaicans. They're talking about Africans and Caribbeans. That's what they mean when they talk about tethers. They're not paying attention to the fact that the Latinos are the fastest growing group all over the South. They're the fastest growing population in Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, North and South Carolina, and Tennessee. So why would I wake up talking? Let me tell you something. Do you realize that most FBA people voted for, excuse me, let me slow it down. Most of our people voted for Kamala Harris, and she's a tether. So how is it that our people are so against tethers, but you voted for Kamala Harris? If Kamala Harris would have won, she would have kept the borders wide open for more immigrants to come. Now just imagine this. Donald Trump closed the borders. He's deported over 600-something thousand illegals. Imagine what the South would look like. Imagine what the rest of this country would look like if Kamala Harris would have won this past election. And guess what? The majority of FBA people voted for open borders. How dumb we got to be. I understand why people don't like me in the FBA community, because they don't like the fact that I point out the stupidity that's going on with our own people. 90-something% of FBA women voted for Kamala Harris. 70-something% of FBA men voted for Kamala Harris. And what do you think she was going to do if she would have won? She would have kept the borders wide open and brought in millions of more immigrants and dumped them in black communities all across the country. Our people are so foolish that they voted for open borders.
Because dudes lost their lives. Months later, the Mexican mafia put a hit on all blacks throughout the system. Like at 4 o'clock count, I think it was a black hand that made that call. But at 4 o'clock count, and all the major pens in the United States of America attacked. So at 4 o'clock count, 2016, dudes is at the email station. They on the phone. They taking showers. But the Mexicans knew what was going on 3 months ago. And they just hit an all-out attack. They end up locking Big Sandy down. They locked Lee County down. They locked McQuarrie down. They locked Pollock down. They locked a lot of lot of pens down behind that, because dudes lost their lives. You got dudes got their arm chopped off, because you had some dudes that had goddamn machetes, man. They just went crazy, because you got to think, it was a sneak attack, meaning that we walking around not knowing that they had been plotting for 3 months to attack all blacks. And you got to think is that when the blacks when the Indians or the Mexicans put a hit on a black, they're not putting a hit on where you from. I don't care if you from Cali, you from DC or Florida.
So he's talking about how the Mexican mafia wanted war with all blacks in the federal system. Shout out to Red, and Red is from Florida. And let me say this, and I'm gonna get back to this content. This is very important, so I got to say it. Kamala Harris is a tether that's married to a white man. And 90+% of black women, FBA women, voted for her. Now imagine a black man that's a tether married to a white woman. You think black women would have voted for him? Absolutely not. So it's laughable when you see idiots say that I'm off code. No, I'm on code. I'm really the one that's on code. You idiots are the ones that's off code. Not only is Kamala Harris a tether who was going to keep the borders wide open to flood the black communities with more immigrants, she's also married to a white man. Now, how dumb do we got to be to vote for a tether that's married to a white man? And all she was going to do was keep the borders wide open to flood more black communities with immigrants. You mean to tell me that 90% of FBA women voted for that? You mean to tell me that 70-something% of FBA men voted for that? A cosplaying tether that's married to a white man who was going to keep the borders wide open? How stupid and dumb can we actually be?
The only thing they putting the hit on is a black man. So I'm saying that to say is that everybody was an easy target on that day. You know, you had a few dudes lost their lives. You had a few Mexicans lost their lives. And the shit get real in there, bro. You know, whenever you live in the environment, bro, well, you have to holler at your homeboy because he got to stand in front of a shower while you take a shower. That shit is serious. Like, you can't walk from the shower to your room with shower shoes on. Your homies is gonna pull you. They're gonna pull you and look here, man. That's like a serious offense. If a dude see you walking from the shower with these on right here, your homeboys is gonna they're gonna pull you up. And what they're gonna do is they're gonna pull you up here. They're gonna tell you that you can't do that. 9 times out of 10, when you see a dude coming from his boxers, he have 3 or 4 things. He got boxers on. He got boots tied up tight. He got a towel over his shoulder and a cosmetic bag and maybe a knife on him. And that's just protocol. My family asks me right now, why do I wake up at 5 o'clock every morning? Because I can just be laying there sleeping. I don't care if I went at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, my eyes are just open. It's because that was protocol in prison, meaning that I'm in all these different states in the federal prison. I'm in these maximum prisons, and that's when a lot of sneak attacks happen. Sneak attacks happen whenever you sleep. Like dudes are sneaking your unit at 4 or 5, well, I ain't gonna say 4 because the doors ain't open, but on that first move. And dudes are sneaking your unit. That's how in 2000, I wanna say 14 or 15, Florida got in a riot with the Bloods. And that's how they crept in the unit. Who's that, Coleman? And it was a lot of shit that night. And the next morning, us Florida dudes didn't know that they had been plotting, but when they had that first move at 5:30, they ran in there with knives and it was a big old ride and everything. But I said that to say, yeah, man.
Where did that start from?
It started from a homie from Florida was in the cell with a Blood. The homie from Florida went to the hole, which is the shoe. They call it the shoe, which is the, they call it confinement anywhere else.
Now we got 1 more minute of this, and I'm gonna show you the Latino population is growing in Tennessee. Right after this, we're gonna break down the growing Latino population in the state of Tennessee. We got 1 more minute of this. Now imagine people in the FBA community mad at me, but the majority of those people in those comment section who support those platforms are idiots that voted for Kamala Harris. But they want to spread lies and say, oh, he's off code. No, you guys are the ones that's off code. You're talking about Haitians and Africans every day while ignoring the fact that Latinos are trying to take over the Deep South. And you idiots voted for Kamala Harris, who ain't nothing but a tether with a white husband who was going to keep the borders wide open. And you want to talk about who's dumb, who's off code.
He went to confinement, so quite naturally, this is a Florida cell. It's just being occupied by a Blood homie. And you know, when I say homie, I'm talking about men. So we had another homie, I want y'all to follow this, that got off the bus that needed somewhere to go. So we was like, we're going to put him in the homie cell because the homie is in the shoe. And the Blood homie wouldn't let him in there. So it was some words exchanged, blah, blah, blah. So the dudes from Florida in the unit like, all right, my nigga, if you feel like that right there, y'all can't touch the TV no more in here. Not on no sucker shit, but it was a Florida TV, but Florida and the Bloods, you know what I'm saying, they came together. Now we all look at this TV. It's crazy, man. Dudes
So
got
basically, the homie from Florida was in the cell first.
Yes. That was a Florida cell.
He hit and claimed it as a Florida cell.
Yeah.
He go to the hole. He never get out the hole?
No. It was a Florida cell. The Blood coming there later. He go to the hole and we know he gonna get out. We just trying to put the new homie from Florida in there just for a minute until we can place him. But the Blood wasn't happening. So the Blood was tripping about that. But all the while, this is not the Blood cell.
Yeah, but what do you...
I don't know. It was, I mean, really, it like, you know, I don't know, probably dude got comfortable in there. You know, when dudes been had them one-man cell for a couple of months, they don't want no selling.
All right, so let's get to this right here that I wanted to show you guys. This is Tennessee. This is Tennessee, Latino growing population in Tennessee. Should have had all these queued, but that's my fault. I won't make the same mistake again. I'll make sure I have it queued for you guys, man.
Well, the Hispanic community is celebrating its heritage over the next few weeks.
Nashville, Tennessee, and they're talking about their growing Latino population. Now, just imagine you got idiots talking about Africans and Haitians every day when that's the smallest population in this country. Africans and Haitians you don't have Africans and Haitians overpopulated in the South. You have Latino immigrants that are overpopulated in the South, and they're the fastest growing population. So why would I waste my time talking about Haitians, Africans, and so-called black tethers? That's a waste of time. They're the smallest population in this country, and Donald Trump is sending these people back home. The Latinos, on the other hand, they're the fastest growing population, in every southern state, the fastest growing population in Georgia, the fastest growing population in North and South Carolina. They're the fastest growing population in Tennessee. They're the fastest growing population in Alabama. They're the fastest growing population in Mississippi. They're the fastest growing population in Louisiana. They're the fastest growing population in Kentucky. But we're going to sit up here and talk about the smallest population that's getting deported, which is African tethers, who are really not a threat to us whatsoever. Man, that's crazy to me. Hey, man, hit the like button for some of the realest content in the game. This is Tennessee, and they're going to tell you about their fast-growing Latino population. They're overpopulating certain cities. They're creating their own communities. People need to speak Spanish to get certain jobs because you got to cater to the fast-growing Latino population.
Well, the Hispanic community is celebrating its heritage over the next few weeks. Nashville's Latino population is also expected to grow above 30% in the next 15 years. News 2's Kelly Hargett tells us how businesses...
Let me pause it again. 70% of the new homeowners in North and South Carolina are Latinos. Let me say that again because some of you people probably didn't understand what I said. Latinos represent 70% of the new homeowners in North and South Carolina. But we want to talk about tethers all damn day. Africans.
This will be part of that growth.
Recognizing Hispanic Heritage Month this year can also give us an opportunity to understand, to learn more about our neighbors.
September 15th to October 15th is Hispanic Heritage Month, a time to recognize the diverse culture of food, music, art, and other accomplishments brought by Hispanics.
See a significant increase in the number of Latinos living in our market. At this point, it's estimated to be 11% of Nashville's population, and statewide, we consider that it is 7% or around 500,000.
Nashville
Caribbeans are a very small, Black Caribbeans are a very small population in this country. That's a fact. The Deep South is an FBA stronghold. You're not going to find large Caribbean populations in the Deep South, which is an FBA stronghold, but you will find large populations of Latinos overpopulating the Deep South. Not Black Caribbeans, not Africans. Let's be real. I'm not saying that we can't talk about it, but why waste time talking about it when the Latinos are literally invading the South as we speak? Every state in the South is getting invaded by large populations of Latinos. They're the fastest growing population in the Deep South. It's not Africans. It's not Black Caribbeans. It's white Latinos. It is non-Black Latinos that are overpopulating the Deep South. Some of you people are too damn slow for your own damn good, man.
Area Hispanic Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Yuri Kunza introduces Las Americas restaurant. The menu offers a variety of Latin American foods on Nolensville Pike. Kunza translated for the owners.
He has always worked in restaurants, in Mexican restaurants, and he saw the opportunity. I guess the business was up for grabs, and then he went for it.
Owner Gerardo Gomez and his wife Maria say they believe in the American dream. That dream has brought them a legacy that they will pass down to their children.
He remembers his daughter when he was, I think, 8 years old, was helping at the restaurant he worked before. And then she enjoyed that, and now she's working with her mother in another place.
Las Americas features murals of Hispanic heritage both outside and inside, relating to the history of those who came from other parts of America. Without those ancestors, we wouldn't have culture that has brought so many Americans together, such as the food.
We're eating at Las Americas, we're eating pupusas. Pupusas, Central American pupusas. Okay. So this one is chicharrón, which is pork and cheese. And I think you have one with beans, pork and cheese, or beef and cheese.
Let's give it a try. All right, let's give it a try. Las Americas is just one of the countless Hispanic restaurants that help showcase the many contributions of the Hispanic community and celebrate their culture. Reporting in Nashville, Kenley Hargett, News 2.
Oh, man. So there you go. There you go.
marks Independence Day for half a dozen Latin American countries and kicks off this Heritage Month. Businesses across East Tennessee are celebrating, and 10 News reporter Krista Lucas visited one of those businesses working to make a positive impact in our community. Krista?
Yes, John, Hispanic Heritage Month is all about celebrating culture, and there are so many ways to do that across our community. Many Hispanic and Latino businesses are hoping this month will encourage people to explore new cultures.
The Hispanic and Latino community in Knoxville has grown over the last few years, and many businesses have popped up across the area to share culture and heritage. Julian Morales has been in business for the last 4 years, and for him, it's all about offering homemade products.
This is no easy, but we try to make a special for the people in here.
But it's not only about how the products are made. Some customers say it's about their hospitality.
It's how they treat you when you walk in. It's like walking into someone's house. It's the heart, the welcoming, they're happy to see you, they know you by your name.
It feels more homey, more like you're supporting someone in the community.
The Latino Chambers of Commerce says the number of Hispanic and Latino businesses is growing because Tennessee saw the largest Hispanic and Latino growth since 2010.
It's growing. I mean, the community is we still have a little spicy of not only the music and being ourselves, because our heritage always gonna be with us. But we become American, we become love for this land, love for this country, love for this town.
For now, the Latino Chambers of Commerce says they are there to help any new business owners.
The president of the Latino Chamber of Commerce says more Hispanic and Latino-owned businesses will open in Knoxville soon. These include about a dozen restaurants, construction companies, bilingual schools, and a lot of tech companies. John, back to you.
So now when they need bilingual schools, that means that more jobs are going to go to Latinos because they got to speak Spanish to these Latinos who can't speak English. This is Memphis, Tennessee. Telling y'all, man, I've been trying to put y'all up on game, but y'all don't want to listen. Y'all want to listen to people that talk about other black groups every day, like, let's talk about Haitians, let's talk about Africans, when Latinos are literally invading the damn South as we speak. Crazy, ain't it?
Latino Memphis taking legal services, social work, meal, and so much more off the shoulders of Hispanic people in the area.
Today, the Latinx community in Memphis, it is the fastest growing segment of the population in Memphis. The 2020 census shows that the white community decreased by about 13%, yet the Latino and Asian community had huge jumps.
With that increase comes a need for those with a similar background to help out.
I am an immigrant. I came to the United States as a child, so I've always had a connection to the struggles of the immigrant community.
We have a portfolio of social and legal services. We have a full-size immigration legal departments.
Requiring an expert bilingual.
This is Memphis, Tennessee. Mexican Latinos are the fastest growing population in Memphis, Tennessee. The white population has decreased by 13%. The black population has decreased, while the Latino population continues to increase. I don't want to hear nothing about no Africans and no Haitians. That's the smallest population in this country. Mexicans are literally overpopulating the Deep South. I'm not saying that we can't hold the Africans accountable for not being on code with us. Yes, we can. But to waste time dealing with them and making content about that instead of focusing on the fact that the Deep South probably won't be an FBA stronghold within the next 10 years is crazy.
Seem to break down the legal terms.
Some people might say that entré con visa, or I entered on a visa, but that doesn't answer necessarily everything you need to know about their entry or their current status. It requires a bigger conversation, and translating just the words often misses the mark.
Exactly, Lim Hendricks. The damage is done. Do you know that there's well over 20 million illegals that came from Mexico and Latin America within the last 10 years? Donald Trump has only deported 600 something thousand of them. But guess what? Their children that was born here are now citizens. That's like if you kill the roaches on the surface, but you don't get rid of the nest. So if you don't get rid of the nest, you still have the problem. So all these immigrants who are getting deported, guess what? They didn't have babies within the last 10 years and their children are now citizens.
And often makes the conversation more difficult unless you're sitting one-on-one with an interpreter or an attorney who speaks Spanish, as we have on our staff.
We're also in the space of family reunification. Last year, Latino Memphis helped reunify 350.
Latino Memphis is taking the weight of legal services, social work, meal services, and so much more off the shoulders of Hispanic people in the area.
Today, the Latinx community in Memphis, it is the fastest growing segment of the population in Memphis. The 2020 census shows that the white community decreased by about 13%, yet the Latino and Asian community had huge jumps.
With that increase comes the need for those with a similar background to help out.
I am an immigrant. I came to the United States as a child, so I've always had a connection to the struggles of the immigrant community.
We have a portfolio of social and legal services. We have a full-size immigration legal departments,
requiring an expert bilingual team to break down the legal terms.
Some people might say that entré con visa, or I entered on a visa, but that doesn't answer necessarily everything we need to know about their entry or their current status. It requires a bigger conversation, and translating just the words often misses the mark and often makes the conversation more difficult unless you're sitting one-on-one with an interpreter or an attorney who speaks Spanish, as we have on our staff.
We're also in the space of family reunification. Last year, Latino Memphis helped reunify 351 children from the border into a home in Tennessee. We also have case managers that work with human trafficking victims. We do financial empowerment. So it's all of those individual services.
In just 7 months with Latino Memphis, Muniz Cortez says he's already assisted on many different cases.
I have been able to help upwards of 80 people with their process. I have served 80 people, and I hope to keep up at that pace.
As the Hispanic population continues to grow, there will always be more work to be done.
Ultimately, we want to go out of business. What we want is that people, Latinos and Latinas, are so successful that they don't need an organization such as Latino Memphis.
If you need a service Latino Memphis provides, you can get assistance by calling or texting Latino Memphis on WhatsApp at 901-366-5882. In Memphis, I'm Zaria Oates.
This morning, a cultural celebration. Hispanic Heritage is officially underway.
According to the U.S. Census data, the Hispanic community is the fastest growing community right here in Memphis. Stephen Reels gives us a glimpse at why more Hispanic people want to call the Bluff City home.
All my work is handmade.
Since 2011.
Morning, a cultural celebration. Hispanic Heritage Month is officially underway.
According to the U.S. Census data, the Hispanic community is the fastest growing community right here in Memphis. Stephen Reels gives us a glimpse at why more Hispanic people want to call the Bluff City home.
All my work is handmade.
Since 2011, Karina Ramirez has called Memphis home.
When I arrive, it's very cool to see the bridge at the Memphis. Say, wow, it's very beautiful.
Filled with beautiful opportunities. Today, Ramirez makes a living by showing her art across the Bluff City, and now joins the fastest growing community in the Mid-South, with more than 56,000 Latinos in Memphis and 2,400 businesses.
People make you feel welcome, and there's a lot of opportunities to grow.
Monica Sanchez is one of the minds behind Casa Teatro here in Memphis, the only bilingual theater here in Tennessee, Arkansas, and Mississippi.
Our community wants to hear theater in their own language. When we do things, we try to make everybody comfortable.
It, along with Latino Memphis, have become places many people in the Hispanic community continually turn to get pointed in the right direction to set up their new life.
General information, lawyers, how to enroll their kids in school, things like that.
But not without a little bit of fun during Hispanic Heritage Month, as Latin Fest 901 shows off the traditions that bonds entire cultures.
And we do a festival with food and music. What a better way to get closer and know each other.
In Memphis, I'm Stephen Reels.
Now, if you want to check it out, Latin Fest 901.
They're the fastest growing population in Memphis, right? So I've been bringing you guys some real content. You know, I'm not gonna sit up here and argue with Africans. And yes, I will put them in their place. But man, this is crazy, man. Let's go to Atlanta. Let's go to Atlanta real quick. I want to show you the Mexican population in Atlanta. So that was Memphis, right? Let's move on over to Atlanta. Let's move over to Atlanta real quick. Hit the like button if you haven't already. They're the fastest growing group, the fastest growing group all over the South. And we want to argue with Africans all day while Mexicans are trying to take over the Deep South. Man, that's crazy.
And over the years, Buford Highway has become a cultural corridor for the Hispanic community, serving as a space where people can thrive.
And that includes Plaza Fiesta, where people get together and celebrate their culture.
Buford Highway is Mexico, bro. If you ever been to Atlanta, go over to Buford Highway. It is Mexico over there. Oh my God. This is Atlanta, and they're going to talk about Atlanta's growing Mexican population.
And over the years, Buford Highway has become a cultural corridor for the Hispanic community, serving as a space where people can thrive.
And that includes Plaza Fiesta, where people get together and celebrate their culture all year long.
Y que tener espacios como Plaza Fiesta son rincones de expresión cultural. Plaza Fiesta is a very unique place here in Atlanta. And when you are here, it's like you are inside of a Latin American street market. Everything here is very authentic. We have our food, our flavor, our taste, right? The way that we celebrate life, the way that we live is represented here.
My name is Veronica Maldonado Torres. I'm president and CEO of the Georgia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. My family is originally from Cartagena, Colombia. We came here a little over 43 years ago. I was born in the United States in Florida, and I've called Georgia home since I was 4 years old. When we look back historically at Buford Highway in the 60s and 70s, there wasn't much here besides, car sales, and you had the GM plant right down the road. But what happened is the connectivity, which is something really important to our community, the highway connectivity in the corridor here, and the lease, the affordability of the space when it came to homes, rental homes, and also places to start and grow business.
Plaza Fiesta is becoming a landmark.
Y digamos, Plaza Fiesta, estos locales muy conocidos en la comunidad hispana.
I ain't lying to you, man. Buford Highway in Atlanta is Mexico. Gwinnett County is Mexico. You know what I'm saying? And there's many other small towns in Georgia that are Mexico. They're moving into the outskirts of Atlanta. Cobb County got a gang of Mexicans in Atlanta. Gwinnett County, gang of Mexicans. Buford Highway looks like East LA. Let me tell you something. Buford Highway looks like East LA in Atlanta.
Place that offers rental homes and also places to start and grow business.
Plaza Fiesta is becoming a landmark.
Y digamos, Plaza Fiesta, estos locales muy conocidos en la comunidad hispana.
This is a place that offers everything that you have back in your countries, where you come from. You can find the food, you can have the clothing, and the most important thing, you can find the language.
We have leather boots that are really high quality, and it's brought from Mexico, so people can really get those accessories that they really love from their country.
Even though the young adults between 20 to 30, they have so many options to go different places. They still like to come over here.
And it's really important to feel like there are other people similar to us with the same interests in life. So that's why I think it's very important to keep remembering where we come from.
And you can watch the full 30-minute special on demand right now on our 11 Alive Plus.
All right. So, hey, man, I've been telling y'all don't listen to me. Y'all want to listen to these people that want to argue with African tethers all day. Yeah, let's argue with African tethers all day. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Let's argue with African tethers. You know?
From the Fountain of Rings to Turner Field, the legacy of the 1996 Olympics is now landmarks. But beyond Centennial Olympic Park is the international impact of the Games.
They found a lot of their cousins and their brothers and their sisters here. They opened tiendas. And the next
Right. When you go to Crenshaw Boulevard in LA, you got Mexicans with taco stands on Crenshaw Boulevard in LA, which was an FBA stronghold. You got Mexicans putting taco carts in Lamert Park, which is an FBA stronghold. They're putting taco stands on Crenshaw Boulevard. Come on, black people. Are we really this foolish? Do we really want to waste time arguing with African tethers while the Latinos and Mexicans are trying to take over the Deep South and black communities across the country? Are we really this foolish?
Turner Field, the legacy of the 1996 Olympics is now landmarks. But beyond Centennial Olympic Park is the international impact of the Games.
They found a lot of their cousins and their brothers and their sisters here. They opened tiendas. And the next thing we knew, Buford Highway was a sort of the Ellis Island for the Latino community in Atlanta.
As the city rushed to get Olympic ready, Samuel Zamarripa says Atlanta's cultural corridor blossomed too.
I had seen some data that said there were 100,000 Latinos in Georgia, and we were astonished. I mean, we thought, oh my goodness, how could there be that many Latinos here in Atlanta?
Before becoming Georgia's first Latino state senator, he worked under Andrew Young as the former mayor bid to bring the Games to Georgia. Atlanta won, championing a new era of growth.
The Olympics just exaggerated the need for labor because things had to be done fast. And so, yeah, I think that there were a lot of candid discussions.
When the stadium was 3 months behind schedule, city leaders looked to the border.
We had daily bus service between here and Houston. 2 and 3 buses would arrive every day.
The Olympics drove a new conversation.
And so immigration became an economic issue. There was opportunity, there was good wages, there was a shortage of that labor.
Census trends.
Shout out to Lim Hendricks for the Cash App. I appreciate you, Lim Hendricks, for the Cash App, right? Shout out to Salty T for the Cash App as well. It's the first time me seeing you over here, but I appreciate you for the Cash App, my brother. Hey, man, listen, Scoop, our people are foolish. They want to argue with African tethers because they know they can get views in the algorithm. But the Latinos and Mexicans are trying their best to take over the Deep South as we speak. They're the fastest growing population. Africans and Haitians are the smallest group in this country, and they're getting deported as we speak. No, we don't want to talk about the fact that Latinos are trying to take over the Deep South. We want to make videos every day arguing with Africans and Haitians and, you know, and black tethers. We want to argue with them all day while ignoring the fact that the Latinos are invading the South in large numbers by the damn millions.
Latinos
between here and Houston. 2 and 3 buses would arrive every day.
The Olympics drove a new conversation.
And so immigration became an economic issue. There was opportunity, there was good wages, there was a shortage of that labor.
Census trends show Latinos already discovered Georgia in the 80s.
The most well-known baseball team in Mexico was the Atlanta Braves. So the Mexican community knew about Los Bravos.
And then drawn by Olympic opportunities.
The Olympics was the first domino.
Daniel Vargas came to Georgia in the 70s on a work transfer from Puerto Rico. Over time, he adopted a different occupation.
But people would say, what do you do for a living? They said, I'm a Hispanic leader.
He says Atlanta's Olympic history was not all glory.
And they're telling me, well, we're getting ripped off here, we're getting ripped off there, people aren't paying us. The Latino community on the whole is trying to be accepted.
A community supporting Atlanta's infrastructure needed support.
We had to sit there and prove ourselves. We didn't have a newspaper. There was nothing.
So after the medals were handed out and athletes left, Vargas and others helped the new workers make Georgia home.
They came to work, but they also then sent for their wives and children. Pretty soon, they developed a community here.
More than 1 million Latinos are now in the Peach State. And as that number climbs, Vargas says we all win.
Optimistically, the future is going to be bright. We are going to colleges. We are getting educated. We are the next generation. The world is never going to be the same again.
Hola, mi nombre es Sofía Moro. Hola, hola, soy Sofía Fina, and we are here today taking over Atlanta to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month.
Now, this is Atlanta, right? This is Atlanta.
In food.
And all of our empanadas from scratch. This is like, it feels like you're at home.
It's so cool that we
Right here we have our empanadas, carne and pollo, but they have potatoes inside of them.
This is empanadas, man. Like we arguing with African tethers and Latinos are going to take over the Deep South, man. Let's argue with African tethers all day and the Latinos are going to take over the South. You even got my daughter over here, man. My daughter is over here talking. And listen, man, I got a son and a daughter, man. For those of you who don't know, I got a son and a daughter. My daughter is over here trying to talk about this. She like, man, she like, what's going on, daddy? I'm like, look, man, our people want to argue with African tethers online all day while the Latinos are trying to take over the Deep South. They're the fastest growing population in every southern state, in every southern city. Even in the outskirts of the cities, they're building communities and overpopulating the major cities in the South as well. But don't nobody want to talk about that besides King Supreme. Guess what now? If talking about this game major numbers, you're going to see all these suckers hop on the bandwagon and talk about something that I've been speaking on for years.
Right here we have our arepa de choclo. Arepa de choclo is made with corn, so it's extra delicious with some cheese on top, a little bit of juice, and our cocktail.
I promise you, if listen, I'm gonna make this a hot conversation, and you're gonna realize all these busters and suckers, once they realize they can get views for talking about this, they're gonna hop on the bandwagon. But right now, the hot topic is talking about Africans and tethers, while ignoring the fact that Latinos are trying to take over the Deep South. Once this becomes a hot conversation, you're going to see all these suckers hop on the bandwagon. And I want all of you guys to say, nah, you guys are fake. Because when Red was talking about it, none of y'all wasn't saying anything about it. You only want to talk about it once it becomes a hot topic. I want all of y'all to call out these people for being fake. Don't hop on the bandwagon once it becomes hot in the algorithm to talk about the fact that Latinos are trying to take over the Deep South. Don't hop on the bandwagon once it becomes popular in the algorithm. I'm talking about it now, and it's not hot. It's not hot in the algorithm. But guess what? King Supreme is talking about it because I give a damn about our people.
And our colombiana.
These were the perfect small bites, both filled with so much flavor and of my favorite.
We're gonna eat some Venezuelan food. I'm so excited to try some arepas. Vamos!
So of course I'm very excited, and every time I come and I eat some Venezuelan food, I feel like back home. It's so good that now as Venezuelans we have like different restaurants around the city that we can like enjoy and like feel those flavors that takes us just straight back home. Yeah.
All right, now I'm up to go to another clip, and I need everybody to bless the like button. If you haven't blessed that like button, I need y'all to bless that like button right now. All these fake ninjas, once they realize that this conversation is going to be hot in the algorithm, then they're gonna jump on it. And I need all of y'all to call them busters out for being fake.
Been receiving about 20 a week. That's about.
This is an 11 Alive Voices for Equality special, celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month.
Now, this is Hispanic Heritage Month, Hispanic Heritage Month in Atlanta, Georgia.
Culture and talking about the issues and disparities the community is facing. You'll hear from them on what it means to be Hispanic.
And you know what Mexicans say, you hate. No, I'm not hating. You guys burned down, you guys threw fire bombs, Molotov cocktails at black people for living in East LA. And black people are the smallest population in East LA. So I don't give a damn about how they feel. I'm telling you what's real. They didn't say nothing about their people being racist towards blacks in East LA in certain valleys in Los Angeles County. Oh, Reg, you racist for calling this out. Hell no, I'm not a racist. I'm trying to protect my people. The same way that y'all didn't want black people moving to East LA, I'm talking about all these Latinos moving in the Deep South, which is our stronghold as foundational black Americans.
And how they are breaking barriers and advocating for a better life right here in our state. These are stories of culture and power, and they are important now more than ever as the Latinx population in Georgia is growing fast. The impact they're having here is growing too. A big part of that growth started when the Olympics came to town in 1996. Cheryl Preheim explains how Latinos helped carry Atlanta to the finish line.
From the Fountain of Rings to Turner Field, the legacy of the 1996 Olympics is now landmarks. But beyond Centennial Olympic Park is the international impact of the Games.
They found a lot of their cousins and their brothers and their sisters here. They opened tiendas, and the next thing we knew, Buford Highway was a sort of the Ellis Island for the Latino community in Atlanta.
As the city rushed to get Olympic ready, Samuel Zamarripa says Atlanta's cultural corridor blossomed too.
I had seen some data that said there were 100,000 Latinos in Georgia, and we were astonished. I mean, we thought, oh my goodness, how could there be that many Latinos here in Atlanta?
Before becoming Georgia's first Latino state senator, he worked under Andrew Young as the former mayor bid to bring the Games to Georgia. Atlanta won, championing a new era of growth.
The Olympics just exaggerated the need for labor because things had to be done fast. And so, yeah, I think that there were a lot of candid discussions.
When the stadium was 3 months behind schedule, city leaders looked to the border.
We had daily bus service between here and Houston. 2 and 3 buses would arrive every day.
The Olympics drove a new conversation.
And so immigration became an economic issue. There was opportunity, there was good wages, there was a shortage of that labor.
Census trends show Latinos already discovered Georgia in the 80s.
The most well-known baseball team in Mexico was the Atlanta Braves. So the Mexican community knew about Los Bravos.
And then drawn by Olympic opportunities.
The Olympics was the first domino.
Daniel Vargas came to Georgia in the 70s on a work transfer from Puerto Rico. Over time, he adopted a different occupation.
But people would say, what do you do for a living? I said, I'm a Hispanic leader.
He says Atlanta's Olympic history was not all glory.
And they're telling me, well, we're getting ripped off here, we're getting ripped off there, people aren't paying us. The Latino community on the whole is trying to be accepted.
A community supporting Atlanta's infrastructure needed support.
We had to sit there and prove ourselves. We need colleges
in their country for them to take that risk.
And donations. Georgia's Latin American Association received a record number of immigrants asking for help recently. That's the highest request in the last 50 years. We take a look at this need and what's being done to help.
They went through Colombia. It took them 6 months to get here by foot. The conditions must be pretty horrible in their country for them to take that risk.
A risk worth taking for families wanting a new start, a new country, and a new dream.
It's an immediate crisis for these families who have come with nothing.
For 50 years, the Latin American Association has helped these families with many services, including food, clothing, and shelter. But this month, a record number walked through its doors.
A couple of days, we had folks that were sleeping outside of our building. So when somebody got here in the morning, There were folks here waiting for us.
CEO Santiago Marquez says many come here seeking asylum and that 98% of them are Venezuelan, like Grace Kelly.
I got here 1 week ago. A church paid for my airplane to come.
The LAA, on average, in the last month has been receiving about 25 families a week. That's about 5 families a day. Grace Kelly and her 4 kids was one of them.
I'm really grateful. They have helped me a lot.
But the rise in migrants combined with inflation and the pandemic means there's an urgent need for donations more than ever before. Many shelters are now at capacity and housing is getting harder to afford.
In some cases, the shelter that we work with, part of their requirement is for folks to have IDs. Some of these folks don't. So the whole key here is how can we stabilize them immediately and get them some short-term housing, right, as their status and their situation is being analyzed.
And part of getting established is registering to vote. A new report finds Hispanic voters could play a significant part in deciding our next governor and senator. We explore how this could impact our upcoming elections.
Really excited to vote this year. It will be my first time, and so I feel like I've been dreaming about this day for a long time.
You're right about that, Scoop, but the majority of FBA people who did vote voted for open borders because they voted for Kamala Harris. That's the unfortunate reality. The majority of our people who did vote voted for Kamala Harris. And all she was going to do was keep the borders wide open. Kamala Harris promoted open borders, abortions, and gender confusion to our children. What do you mean about gender confusion to our children? Well, Kamala Harris was going to give transmissions and people who are confused about their sexuality, she was going to give them money to have a free sex change, which means you were going to have men going to female bathrooms and vice versa. So Kamala Harris promoted gender confusion, open borders, and abortion. And the sad part about that is 90+% of FBA women voted for her. 70+% of FBA men voted for her. Kamala Harris is a cosplaying tether with a white husband, but yet and still she won the majority of the FBA vote. The majority of FBA people who did vote voted for that. And they got the nerve to talk about who's on code versus who's off code.
Laura Campos is one of the nearly 97,000 newly naturalized Georgia citizens. She made it through the 18-month backlog of pending citizenship applications. In Georgia, it's taking 7 months longer than the national average.
It was expensive and really overwhelming. The application was really long with a lot of terms I didn't really understand.
About 75% of those new citizens are originally from Asia and the Americas. According to this report just released by the National Partnership for New Americans, most are picking up one by a little more than 51,000 votes. That's nearly the same margin of voters who supported Stacey Abrams in Gwinnett County. These local groups believe the recent number of naturalized voters could change those margins and possibly change election outcomes.
You have a strong philanthropic community. You have strong API serving organizations. You have a mayor's office of immigrant affairs that's supporting this larger vision of inclusion.
More Latinos at the polls this November means there's a high demand for bilingual poll workers. A local nonprofit is searching for translators to help make voting easier and more inclusive for those whose first language is not English.
This is where a lot of people like to say where the magic of voting happens.
And where bilingual poll workers like Alba Villarreal are being hired.
The first woman I did help, actually the most challenging, because she was very recently naturalized. She had her passport, she had her birth certificate, because she didn't know what to bring. She did not speak English that well.
But for other voters, Villarreal says not knowing English keeps them from going to the polls. She's worked 3 elections in Norcross where only 10 people have needed her help. She believes it's because voters don't know translators are there to help.
Because of the poll worker shortage, it's very hard to have someone who's bilingual posted at every single polling location. So of course people are discouraged to vote, because they're afraid that when they get there, no one's going to help them. They're going to be confused.
That's why nonpartisan group Galeo is trying to inform voters that they're there, especially now that it says the number of Latino voters in Georgia grew by more than 57% since 2016.
We look at the high density precincts to make sure that we have volunteers there ready and able to do that. We're knocking on doors. We're having conversations with community members. We are registering people at festivals.
Gwinnett is still the only county offering ballots in Spanish and English, so Villarreal says translators are desperately needed elsewhere.
The minority communities who speak other languages are immediately at a disadvantage. Immediately.
They should be at a disadvantage. If you don't speak the language, why in the hell do you need the advantage if you don't even speak the damn language? This is why you never let these people come here in the first place. Why should you have an advantage if you can't even speak the language and you are undocumented and the sole purpose of you coming here was to dump anchor babies for birthright citizenship? People who don't speak English are at a major disadvantage. If I went to Mexico right now and I can't speak Spanish and I went to live there, I would be at a major disadvantage. You don't hear nobody crying about that in Mexico. If you can't speak Spanish in Mexico, you're going to be at a major disadvantage, and nobody gives a damn about that. But you want us to give a damn about an immigrant who can't speak English in the United States. You want to cry about them being at a major disadvantage. Don't nobody care.
Only so much that external resources can do.
Next on our Voices for Equality special.
Most health insurances don't accept people without Social Security.
Barriers to health care.
Those are the folks that
they want us to cater to illegals who can't speak English, and they complain about it as if we should cater to them because they came here illegally and they can't speak the language. They want us to cater to people who speak Spanish that don't speak English. If you went to Mexico today and you wanted to live there, you would be at a major disadvantage if you can't speak Spanish, and no one would feel sorry for you. I'm gonna say it again. No one would feel sorry for you.
have the most difficult time.
How Latinas are fighting to get better access.
The MacGyvers had the storybook.
Your local Hispanic community is.
Let's go to Mississippi. Let's move on over to Mississippi, man. This is crazy, man. We're supposed to feel sorry for some non-English speaking illegals and cater to them. We're supposed to cater to them. Y'all.
Means I hear the stories of immigration. It's really important to create the narrative.
There is an exhibit at the Mississippi Museum of Art that is catching a lot of eyeballs. It highlights the heroes of the Hispanic community here in Mississippi. And tonight we meet two of those heroes as we honor Hispanic heritage.
It's called Nuestro Mississippi. It's one of the newest exhibits at the Mississippi Museum of Art. It means our Mississippi.
I hear the stories of immigration. It's really important to create the narrative that immigrants and migrants are a part of this beautiful landscape in Mississippi.
There are 21 pictures of leaders in the community throughout the state. Efren Nunez is one of those leaders. He's been in Mississippi for over 30 years and started the first Latino store here.
At that time, I know that people were looking for me to help them to get like a calling cards or other type of need for them at the stores. And that's how I come with the idea, you know, because I live in Miami before too, and I kind of I remember stores and things like that over there, but not here. I say, well, let me open something and for more easy for the people how to get the stuff they need, you know, even products and stuff like phone cards and cell phones. It started at that time, you know, it wasn't like right now. But from that store, pretty much, I could say like probably like 10 more business around here, stores, you know, and other cafeterias, restaurants, and things like that, yeah.
Nancy Tillman has spent her career in the military and as an educator, and using her skills help people all.
Listen, if you're a foundational Black American and you haven't hit that like button, you committing a damn crime. If you want real FBA content to get more popular than this BS FBA content, y'all need to share these live streams. Y'all need to hype all of my videos. The only way that the real is going to rise above the fake, we need the real people to support the real when I slide through. That's the only way we're going to silence these idiots that want to talk about Africans and Haitians, but they're ignoring the fact that Latinos are trying to take over the Deep South. So if you want content like this to rise to the top, it's going to take you guys to share it, like it, subscribe, and tell a friend that's going to tell a friend, because I'm giving you the real. I'm talking about what really matters. African immigrants and Caribbean immigrants represent the smallest population in this country. But Latinos, on the other hand, they're the fastest growing population all over the country, and they're trying their best to take over the Deep South as we speak. And I'm one of the only FBA content creators that's actually speaking on this. Everybody else is ignoring this, and they want to argue with Africans and Haitians and just foolishness all down day. I'm one of the only FBA content creators that's focused on the fact that Latinos are trying to take over the Deep South.
Hours of the day and night, many times coming out of her own pocket.
And it comes back from our roots. When we have a large family, you don't know you're poor because everybody's poor, you know. And so you had one room, which is everybody slept there in the kitchen, but you help each other as a community. You have to. It takes a whole village, as they say, to help each other. And to see a child at school that maybe hasn't bathed because there's no water at home, or you can just imagine, or having a child to come to school.
So if you rock with real content and you love him, if you rock with real content and you love him and you love hearing the truth, and you ain't blessed that like button, you committing a damn crime, man. This is some of the realest content you're gonna get. Mexicans and Latinos are trying their best to overpopulate the South as we speak.
School with shoes that are flopping up and down because the bottom is coming off, or no mattress, no bed. Simple things like that. Those are simple things that can be taken care of. And so reaching out, and I have to give a lot of credit, not just to myself. My husband and I, we did come out of our pocket, but those are material things. Imagine what that can do for that child, where it can elevate, where it can go.
Both Efren and Nancy say they are honored to be part of the exhibit and hope when people visit, they walk away with a new perspective.
To me, it's very important because that way you are there representing the community, and people, they go to see the exhibit, they can know about us more. They know us, like I say, mostly we are in the construction area. That's is the more they know about us.
What you mean they can try, but this ain't California. They're the fastest growing population. See, this is what I mean when people are just ignorant, bro. And I'm not trying to disrespect you. Mexicans are the fastest growing population in Louisiana. They're the fastest growing population in Mississippi. They're the fastest growing population in Tennessee. They're the fastest population. They're the fastest growing population in Alabama. They're the fastest growing population in Georgia. They're the fastest growing population in North and South Carolina. What do you mean this is not California? California, listen, homie, California wasn't always overpopulated with illegals. It wasn't always overpopulated with illegals. But it is now. But it is now. So eventually they're going to overpopulate the South because they're doing it right now. They're the fastest growing population. So what do you mean this ain't California? Do you realize that the New Orleans area has damn near 250,000 Mexicans? Do you realize that they have a Mexican mayor, a Latino mayor in New Orleans? You better wake up and quit being stupid. The city of New Orleans, Louisiana, has a Latino Mexican mayor. If that ain't gonna wake you up, I don't know what will, man.
When you go to a place like that, the Museum of Art, they can see where we are different shape, different color, different things that we do. To me, it's great. You know, it's a great opportunity for us to be there, and people, all the visitors, can see us there, you know, and know about it.
When you hear about Hispanics, all of a sudden it turns into
This fool said, this ain't California. Do you realize that New Orleans has a Mexican mayor? Why do you think they got a Mexican mayor in New Orleans? Because they're the fastest growing population. So they're doing that to cater to the Latino population. Some of you people are too damn dumb for your own damn good, man. You're not going to realize that this is a problem before it's too damn late. It's going to be too late before you realize that this is a major problem. Why you think they gave New Orleans a Mexican mayor? They didn't do that by coincidence. They did it for a damn reason. The Mexican population in the New Orleans area is damn near at 250,000. It's damn near 250,000 Mexicans in the New Orleans area. That's why they got a Mexican mayor now, fool.
To a negative, it's either someone who's here illegal or someone who doesn't have papers. But when you go here and you see what these people have done throughout Mississippi, I would hope that people would get a different mindset.
Yeah, he said, man, this ain't California. Man, are you that foolish? Are you really that foolish? Huh?
Part of a dream that comes.
If you notice, they are celebrating Latino Hispanic Heritage Month in every state in the damn South now. In every state in the South, they're celebrating Latino history in the South now. Something that they never did 20 years ago. Oh man, this ain't California. It will be California if you don't wake up, fool.
Has had quite an influence on the state of Mississippi. During this program, we'll dive deeper into that heritage. You know, the first European explorer in what would become Mississippi was from Spain. We'll meet current athletes who bond over their common Hispanic heritage, and we'll recognize some of the notable Hispanics currently making a difference in our country. But for now, we'll begin with a basic question. What is Hispanic heritage? Well, Merriam-Webster defines the word Hispanic as relating to or being a person of Latin American descent, especially of Cuban, Mexican, or Puerto Rican origin living in the United States. Heritage, well, meaning something that is transmitted by or acquired from a predecessor, or something possessed as a result of one's natural situation or birth. So, when you put those two words together to form the
He was a European, not a Latino. So there's no hidden Latino history. The Spanish conquistadors are Europeans. They're not Latinos.
The phrase Hispanic heritage, you get a picture of what we see in our country every day. A celebration of culture by those who descended from Latin America. And boy, it is everywhere. Each year, Hispanic Heritage Month takes place from September 15th until October 15th. So yes, we're right smack in the middle of it right now. The tradition started back in 1968 as Hispanic Heritage Week under President Lyndon Johnson. A few years later, in the 1980s, this happened.
We honor all those many millions of our citizens who so exemplify the values of family, work, and respect for God and love of country. And when it comes to these basic building blocks of character, no group of citizens should be prouder than Americans of Hispanic descent.
President Reagan recognized the holiday as a week and then extended it to a month beginning in his next term, and then other presidents would soon follow. Man, that was a lot of history, wasn't it? But still, it doesn't cover exactly how the Hispanic influence got here. Well, here's a bit more. It takes you way back to when the first Europeans came to our area. Hernando de Soto and his band of explorers came through here in the mid-1500s. What they brought was a whole new world. What they left behind was a drastically different way of life for the Native Americans. And, in a roundabout way, maybe one of the South's favorite foods. Take a look. Spaniard Hernando de Soto was the first European explorer to visit what would become Mississippi in about the mid-1500s, over 150 years before the next Europeans would get here. He walked into a world already in transition from a society centered around mound complexes into a more spread-out culture built around scattered villages. His intrusion with his armed men and a cadre of priests, along with their strange animals like pigs and horses, had drastic results. It was about 1540 that De Soto followed the Tombigbee River into our area from the east.
Hit that like button, man. This is some real history.
East, probably somewhere around Columbus, but nobody really knows his eventual route across Mississippi.
But we do know he wintered in 1540, 1541. He wintered with the Chickasaw. And they have some very famous renderings and renditions of that encounter. De Soto was not the most gracious guest. So it was a running skirmish between there trying to get to the Mississippi River.
Ah, yes, the Mississippi River. De Soto's famous discovery of it, again, at a place nobody has a clue exactly where.
We know it's somewhere between Vicksburg and Memphis, which was a pretty good swath.
There is a significant Spanish artifact that was found near Slaughter in the North Delta on display at the Delta Museum in Greenwood, so that gives a hint where you could have been. The where of De Soto's travels can be debated from now on, I guess, but the what of it is really much more significant.
We do a lot of really good analysis on material remains of people.
All right, listen, man, we're going to wrap this up, man. I've been up here long enough. I'm trying to get my people, the real ones, to understand what's really going on, what really affects us. Black people, our decision-making is what really affects us. The dumb decisions that we make is what really affects us, right? For the most part, right? Before an African tether or a Mexican and Latino can become a problem, it starts with our thinking. Unfortunately, foundational Black Americans voted for open borders. Foundational Black Americans voted for open borders. You voted for a tether by the name of Kamala Harris. She's a tether with a white husband, but yet and still she won the majority of the FBA vote. And you want to talk about somebody that's off code? Man, it's laughable. How could a cosplaying tether with a white husband win the majority of FBA vote? You know how they won? You know how she won you know how Kamala Harris won the majority of the FBA vote? Because they promoted her as a Black woman, and Black women will vote for anybody that's a Black woman, regardless of her policies. Black women voted for Kamala Harris by 90+% because they viewed her as a Black woman. Never mind the fact that she was a tether. Never mind the fact that she was married to a white man. Never mind the fact that she promoted open borders. They voted for her regardless because she's looked at as a Black woman, even though she's a cosplaying tether with a white husband. She promoted gender confusion, she promoted abortions, and she got a white husband, yet and still she won 90+% of Black women's vote. Yet and still she won 70+% of the Black man's vote. And you want to talk about somebody that's on code versus somebody that's off code. I don't respect none of these ninjas. They're stupid. They're dumb. They're stupid. The overwhelming majority of our people who did vote. I'm not talking about you Negroes who did. I'm not talking about you Negroes who didn't vote. I'm talking about you Negroes who did vote. 90+% of foundational Black American women voted for a cosplaying tether by the name of Kamala Harris, who promoted open borders, abortions, and she got a white husband. 70+% of FBA men voted for that same nonsense. So I don't respect you idiots when y'all get to talking about who's on code versus who's off code. Can't listen to y'all. You guys are not to be taken serious. Listen, homie, make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel. I'm giving you guys some of the hottest content, some of the realest content that you're going to get. You're not going to find this content from anybody else. I'm the one that's telling you the damn truth. I'm the one that's keeping it real with you. Listen, homie, you got all these FBA channels that's talking about being on code when 90-something% of our FBA women voted for Kamala Harris. 70-something% of our FBA men voted for Kamala Harris as well. So how could you take these people serious when they get to talking about what's on code versus what's not on code? Kamala Harris is a cosplaying tether with a white husband who was going to keep the borders wide open. If Kamala Harris would have won this past election, she would have kept the borders wide open, and they would have flooded FBA communities with millions of illegal immigrants, as if we ain't got enough already. We get up out of here, man. Peace, love, and blessings. I'll be back in the morning with some more content. I got to get up out of here. Listen, homie, our people are too damn foolish. They're lost in the sauce. Our people are lost in the sauce. They voted for a cosplaying tether with a white husband who was going to keep the borders wide open. And they got the nerve to talk about who's on code versus who's off code. It's laughable at this point. This is why nobody takes us serious. Because they say, if black people want to make content about tethers all day, why did they vote for Kamala Harris? Why did the women vote for Kamala Harris by 90-something%? Why did black men vote for Kamala Harris by 70-something+% if they're so against tethers? If they're so against cosplaying tethers, how did Kamala Harris win the majority of the FBA vote if they're so against tethers? Not only is Kamala Harris a cosplaying tether, she's married to a white man. And she still won the majority of the FBA votes. Well, the majority of FBA people didn't vote. I'm talking about the FBA people who did vote. When it comes to the FBA people who did vote, 90-something% of FBA women that did vote voted for Kamala Harris. 70-something% of FBA men who did vote voted for Kamala Harris. And you want to talk about being off code. That's the epitome of being off code. Well, Donald Trump is a racist. Donald Trump is a white supremacist. At least Donald Trump did something about illegal immigration and closed the damn borders, which benefits you as a foundational black American. Hey, man, I'm going to get up out of here, homie. Peace, love, and blessings. It's King Supreme. I got to get up out of here, y'all. I'm gone.